Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Hey there, welcome into Golf Central. Ryan Burr with PGA Tour winners Brian Bateman, Jim Gallagher Jr. We're going to keep you updated on what exactly is going on around one of the Valspar Championship. Charles Howell III, currently a putt on 17, 28 feet for the outright lead. As soon as Charles gets there, we'll let you know what unfolds on 17. Keep you updated throughout the program. In the meantime, guys, let's get to the defending champ and the #1 player in the world, Jordan Spieth, who did not have the day many would have predicted. We start with Spieth right out of the get-go. Started on the back nine. This is Jordan at his first hole, the 10th.
Well, he hit his drive left into the fairway bunker. Always a difficult shot up to the uphill shot there on the first hole, or 10th hole here, excuse me, but blows it way to the right and leaves himself absolutely no chance to really get this close. Tries to get a little cute there, obviously, and comes up with a bogey. One over par start.
No time to get cute. Spieth 1 over through 1. Second hole.
Number 11, great par 5, 3-shot hole. Ran into trouble again from the rough, going from the left rough to the right rough, into the bunker, comes up short.
So, Brian, here's Spieth to save par. This is a par 5, and this is a bogey.
Yeah, you hate to start off with 2 bogeys, especially one of them being a par 5. It's just a difficult hole, but obviously he didn't keep it in the fairway long enough.
Well, two holes, 2 bogeys. This is Jordan now at the 12th.
And that's the key, Ryan. You have to hit the fairways here to give yourself the opportunities, and he does nicely there. A little bit firm on the green, but holds nice in there. That from 138 yards to 11 feet. A little better stroke on this one than maybe the first on this last hole.
Yes, spoiler alert.
I did.
One birdie for Jordan Spieth, and we just showed it to you at 12. Remember, he started on the back, so that would be his one and only birdie. Here he is at 13.
Tricky par 3 here. There were more balls in the water today than there were birdies made, and obviously here either the wind stopped on him or he picked the wrong club, but way over the green for a very difficult up and down.
Spoiler alert, Jordan Spieth, 6 of 12 scrambling, did not get it done in that department.
And no, those are scrambled eggs right there. That's right off the front of the green. And when you do knock it long on this hole, that's with the penalty you pay. But as Brian said, I think it was more just missed club than it was anything else. This to get it up and down for bogey.
Good save.
And Spieth 2 over. So really struggling out of the get-go is your defending champ. Here he is now at 14. Another par 5, Brian.
Yeah, another par 5, double dog leg. You know, it seems like he was having trouble with the distance on his short irons. And look, you can see the flag skit's not even blowing there. Knocks it over the green, leads to another bogey.
Jim, did he just go double dog on me?
He did do a double dog. And
then
he's double dogged. He double crossed his tee shot to the left. And now he's undercut it to the right under the trees. I mean, this doesn't look like the #1 player in the world.
No.
Yeah, I double dog dare you to make this.
Just get it on the green.
Yeah, under a limb, not much green to work with. You know, he's not giving him much chance to get up and down. He's in difficult positions.
And once again, unable to do just that. So to 17 now. More problems for Jordan Spieth in the bunker, but shows some great touch here.
Yeah, finally stops the bleeding here. Beautiful bunker shot. Had to get it up high and quickly and stop. What, a foot from the hole. Taps in for par. Great save there.
39 on Jordan's front 9, the back 9 at the Copperhead course. So Jordan goes to the front, hoping to turn things around. We know the birdies didn't happen. That thing was dead in the middle. Just didn't hit it hard enough.
And this is a par 5, which he played 2 over for the day, which will definitely kill you on this golf course.
To the 3rd, another short par putt.
Yeah, I think at this point in the round, he might have been getting a little bit frustrated. You can see where he stepped back fairly quickly with that. That was a quick stroke for Jordan Spieth, and the ball came offline pretty quickly as well.
To the 6th, another chance for birdie.
Another chance. You know, he's just, in that particular stroke, the greens are a little bit slow. He's trying to force it, it looks like, and the speed was not there, neither was the line. It leads to another missed putt.
Remains 5 over, now at the par 3 8th.
Well, this is a very difficult par 3 coming down here, but he kept missing it, not just right, but left. Left, he missed it with the irons 3 different times. That's in the left bunker there. But this was the highlight. If there was a bright spot today, it was his bunker play. It was 2 or 3 of getting it up and down out of the bunkers, and a little bit better shot there.
Splendid. Would make par, remains 5 over. Now at the 9th, once again, 25 feet for birdie.
Trying to end the day with a birdie, just really trying to get to the house, honestly. Burns the edge, makes par. and then tries to figure out how he's going to attack the golf course tomorrow.
The numbers are staggering for your defending champ, the #1 player in the world. As you can see, the last 2 seasons, +5 or worse, this year has been an issue. Riviera 79, opens with a 76 today. The one birdie we showed you, the real problems were greens and regulation. The ball striking not there. 6 of 8 in greens, ties his career low on the PGA Tour. The good news for Jordan, it was only one day.
It was tough. Wasn't a very good round. I got off to a poor start, and I was behind the 8 ball with gusty winds, on a tough golf course. So, yeah, I've been feeling good about my game. I probably would have shot 5 under yesterday in the Pro-Am. It's just, unfortunately, right now on my off days, typically in my history, I'm able to hold that around even par, and I'm just shooting too high numbers. Didn't quite squeak out even today, even though it was an even kind of round, and with hopefully less wind tomorrow, and I can work hard to play the weekend. Today was one of those days where you just seem to be, when you don't hit a great shot, you don't deserve a good break, but I ended up not having much out of the trees, and then I also drove it into a couple divots in the fairway. It's just one of those days. I hit it into I hit a pretty good shot on 18, and I get up there, and it wasn't a divot that had been refilled. It was one from maybe a couple groups in front of us, just sitting straight down. I had to take extra club and just kind of hack it. Actually hit a great shot onto the green, but sure, I mean, yeah, it was kind of one of those days, but that doesn't happen often. I don't think that way often. I don't think I fall into that trap normally. It just kind of was the case today. There was a lot of holes where I thought I hit great shots in midair. I'm posing, and it's 10 to 15 yards off on the distance based on the gust of the wind. It was a very tough day. I just caught the wrong gust. We guessed incorrectly. You kind of get a 50-50 chance on a day like today on those into the wind shots, and I flew some greens where I thought they were perfect, and then I backed off of being aggressive. I tried to be a little more tentative on the last few holes, and it just shot up in the air. So it just happens. It's a long time, 24 hours in between finishing here and starting tomorrow. So, that means tomorrow's a brand new day.
And a brand new day for Jordan Spieth, where he is just 3 off the cut line right now. It was a difficult day for not only Jordan, for many. The current cut is +2, so you'd have to expect him to bounce back and a +3, or cut 3 off that lead. Taking a look here at the fewest greens in regulation at the 2014 PGA Championship, he went on to miss the cut there. Did get a top 20 at the 2014 Memorial. Let's take a look at some of these examples, Brian and Jim, about just the ball striking and how he talks about, catching a gust here or there, says he was posing, thought he hit it perfect, just unable to control the distance.
Well, I think that's to a point that's correct. I mean, that's part of the gust, but that's the tricky part of playing in Florida this time of year is the gust, but he tends to hit the ball solid. If you don't hit it solid, it's going to get offline, and I just think it was the two-way misses. It wasn't just right. It wasn't just left. It was both ways, and sometimes when you get to there, you don't always know as a player which way you're going to miss. And I think that's one of the things. His biggest mistake was in the first 9 holes. That's where the disasters all really he kind of righted the ship on the back 9. But we see there, and that's the hard part. I always felt like playing in the gusts, if you hit a solid shot, the wind shouldn't affect it that much.
Now, this is from the fairway from 100 yards. That's bread and butter, Jordan Spieth, directly over the top of the flag. You would think he'd get it in there tight for birdie. Instead, he scrambled to make par. Then at 7, 128, another perfect number.
Well, I always felt like wedges were tough, especially in the wind, to gauge what it was going to do. But, he grew up in Texas. He grew up in the wind. It was just one of those days where he didn't do a lot of good things with his ball striking was off, club selection was off.
So it begs the question, boys, was this one day, as he just said, or is this the continuation of a theme of a problem in 2016? This is his 4 PGA Tour starts in the continental U.S. We'll start at Pebble, where he had a 74 on Saturday, above par round. Then he goes to the Northern Trust, opens with a 79, then takes a week off, expects to right the ship at the Cadillac, which he's never played well at Doral, but 73 on the weekend. And then here we are today, where he's the defending champ, a golf course we know he does like, and it's a 5 over 76. So it's easy to say it's one day, I got a couple gusts, bad luck, But then when you look at kind of the last 4 times he's played on the PGA Tour, you're talking about 74, 79, 73, 73, 76. Those numbers would say it's more than one day. Give me a level of concern here.
I would be very concerned. I think it's one of those things when we talked about, I mean, he's turning average rounds into 75s and 6s now, where when you're playing great, and great players tend to kind of keep those. Tiger Woods I always remembered. He could walk out there and turn an over par round at par. And I think sometimes maybe he's mentally tired. The putting woes I understand on the Poana. Not everybody can putt on Poana, but he's now on Bermuda, the grass he grew up on, and the wind, it doesn't affect him. But I think it looks like a tired. And I think when you're tired, you make mental mistakes, and you fall, and maybe the pressure. I mean, I don't know, but it's not the putting necessarily that's killing him. It's a little bit of everything. It starts seeping into all parts of your game, and it puts the pressure on your putting. When your ball striking's off, you put pressure on your putting, and that's where he was able to rely on last year.
Still 19th in strokes gained putting. You can see the biggest difference comes in the total putting and inside 10 feet. He's now 163rd as we take a look at his season of putting. This was at AT&T when we talked about 4 of 6 on putts from 5 to 8 feet that week. He was 15th in strokes gained.
Well, I think that week was a lot of misreads at Pebble more than anything. His speed was off just a little bit. I think there were more misreads there. My concern, and this is the week I did live golf, Brian, was on this Poana at the Riviera.
And this was not a good week. 4 of 11 on 5 to 8. That's tough to bounce back from, Brian.
Yeah, and when you're on the West Coast and you're dealing with the Poana greens, you have to you're at the mercy of the grass. Putting is all about confidence, and when you see putts go in, you see the line better. He comes back to the East Coast and he gets on some Bermuda. Last week at the Cadillac Championship, those greens are probably the best surfaces they're going to putt on all year long. And it just looks like to me he's not seeing the line and he's not putting with confidence.
He was 45th in strokes gained putting for the week at Doral. You can see how quick that is, and those are putts that obviously he made just about all of last year. And then today, 1 of 4 on putts from 10 to 5 feet.
Yeah, I think, and we talked about it in the pregame, that it sounded like he was, in his postgame interview, he was a little bit frustrated with the speed. The balls were not going in the hole, and sometimes you feel like that when you don't make putts early, the wind's blowing, everything's more difficult, that you try to force putts. You try to make the putt instead of hitting or stroking it down the line. And I felt like today watching the coverage that he was really forcing his speed and trying to make putts instead of just making the correct stroke.
Are we making something too big out of this? I mean, the sky is not falling. He's still the #1 player in the world. The season is just getting started. Jim said he's pretty concerned. He's only 3 off the cut line here at Valspar. We know he can turn things around quickly. The Masters about a month away. Where are you at with Jordan?
Well, I said it earlier. I think the cut's going to be over par. This is not an easy golf course this week. The conditions are going to be difficult tomorrow. The wind's going to continue to blow tomorrow. So all he has to do really is to have a good night's sleep, think about his mistakes today, try to make some putts early tomorrow. I know he's going to be teeing off late in the afternoon, but he's still in this golf tournament.
You expect a bounce back?
I do. I really do, yeah.
I just think it's very difficult when you start just trying to make cuts, and that's where he's been a couple times. It's not panic time by any means, but ball striking's got to get better, got to get a lot better. We talked about 4 to 8 feet putts. This year he's missing 8% more than he did last year. That was always a little bit of his kind of hiccup last year, but for the most part, I mean, just to be trying to make the cut, he wants to be in contention, and I know he does. And this is a big stretch for him. Yeah. This is a stretch where he's going to play a lot of tournaments up to the Masters. He had that great run, and he's defending. And it's always tough to follow up on a great year, no matter who you are.
And to your point, he is now the #1 player in the world. The microscope. At this point last year, it was a great story. The young kid, 21-year-old, in contention every week. Can he win? Right. He's only won at John Deere. And then kind of the whole season happens. Now he's a mega superstar. Reading the body language, does it look like it's still out there just having fun, happy-go-lucky, or do you see something else?
Well, I think Jim hit the nail on the head a minute ago. The Masters is a month away, and that's got to be first and foremost on his priority list. This past 6 weeks, not making the putts that he wants. It's been a long time since Kapalua. And he might be pressing a little bit, who's to say, but he has historically had some bounce backs in the past. Definitely. Hilton Head we talked about earlier, 74-62. He's had some others. So I expect him to play well tomorrow. I really do.
Body language, Jim?
The fun factor's gone. That's what we saw.
You see that, huh?
Oh, I see a little bit of it. I see this tone. I see it in his interviews. I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying I see that. I've been there where you've got to be really careful what you say. He doesn't say anything really negative, but you can tell he looks like a beat-down guy
but it's not fun shooting 79, 76. So how do you, when you shoot 76, how do you make that fun? You can't, right?
You don't.
You can't.
No.
So, of course, he's not having more fun. I mean, what can you do to kind of rehab that?
That's the hard part. How do you, everybody wants to have those results. They want to say, how do I get out of a playing slump? You get your confidence by having good results.
You said slump. You think it's going to be?
I didn't say slump. I said that's how people get out of slumps. I'm not saying he's in one. I've been, I've talked even with the college girls. They're struggling. They're trying to get confidence. People generally, they're trying to get confidence by seeing results. That's when you get back to just getting into the routine. Watch if he stays in his routine and keeps consistent with that. Then he's doing those things that he's worked so hard on. I just think he looks a little tired, and it's starting to beat on him a little bit.
But I do think he needs to realize the difficulty of the golf course this week and know that the scores are not going to be that low.
Right.
He's going to have plenty of opportunity moving forward tomorrow to make up some ground and get back in the golf tournament.
Absolutely.
Huge round of golf tomorrow on Golf Channel. You'll see Jordan Spieth right in our afternoon window. Great opportunity. We'll find out if he makes the cut or not, but an opportunity to really bounce back. Like, really, he's only 22, but we've seen him do so many times in his career. Wouldn't be surprised if there's something with a 6 on it tomorrow and Jordan Spieth right back in this golf tournament. He's going to have to track down the leaders, and that would include a guy that hasn't been playing great golf as of late, Keegan Bradley, but boy, he found something on Thursday.
Well, he found his putting stroke, and that's one of the things he's gotten some confidence. Watching Adam Scott went from the non-anchored coming into this week. He was giving away just over 1 stroke. Today, he actually gained over 2 strokes on the field. So in the short game, that's what you have to do around this golf course, Brian, especially windy conditions, is how well you scramble. And scrambling means you have to make a lot of putts of this distance to keep rounds going.
Well, he said in his post-round interview that this was the key to his round today, was making mid-length putts. And like you said, when the conditions are tough, par's your partner. You have to make some 5 and 6, 7, 8, 10 footers for par to keep your momentum, because it's not easy.
Keegan didn't miss a putt, 17 to 17. Meanwhile, Ken Duke also putting up a number. How about this? His third at 18.
Well, that helps when you don't have to putt.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 67 for Kenny Duke, finished 4 under. Meanwhile, Chesson Hadley, the hot putter.
Long stroke up the hill, breaking right to left. That's why he's close to the lead. He made a handful of these today as well. We did see some putts go in. We saw a lot of players miss a few.
And time now for our Geico save of the day. It comes from Chesson Hadley. The par 3, fried egg in the bunker.
Key to a buried bunker shot, keep the club face square so you can try to get under the ball as best you can. And really, you can see it here. It's a beautiful graphic. Square club face. Actually got quite a bit of spin coming out of that buried lie, giving yourself a chance to make par from 8 to 10 feet. Here he is trying to convert.
And wait for it. Willie.
No sand.
Give me a little snap. Give us a little snap. Yes, indeed. Hadley, 68, finished 3 under. Meanwhile, we continue to update Charles Howell III. This is Chucky at 8.
It's hard to believe the career he's had with only 2 wins. He's always in contention, plays well here, had a second-place finish, and it's just a ball striker's golf course, and you tend to see him have some good weeks like that on golf courses like this.
Now Charles at 11. This a putt for birdie, 45 feet.
Long putt here from Charlie from back in the shadows. Looks like it's a double breaker. And right there it stays on the line. Beautiful putt. What a bonus to make that long a putt on a par 5.
And just like that, he's 3 under to 14 now, the par 5.
Always been a good wedge player. His swing never moves off a plane. I love his golf swing. Great balance. Probably a perfect club, but it looks like a perfect result.
Yeah, not bad. Tap in there to get to 4 under. When we came on the air, he had this putt for the outright lead at 17.
Well, this hole playing a little bit easier today. Not too bad. There's just a little bit of a misread, maybe.
Comes up short with tap in there for par to stay 4 under. Now his approach at 18.
Well, I drove it in the fairway here. Very difficult finishing hole. You have to get the ball in the fairway here to give yourself a chance.
And
wow, we didn't see many of that.
Yeah, bringing it back. So he will have another lengthy birdie putt. This one at 18. Final hole today for Charles Howell. And an opportunity to take the outright lead. So we will update. He's still taking a look at that putt. and currently he sits in a tie for the lead. Got to believe he at least 2 putts that, so have to believe at worst he's 4 under. If he gets that long one to go, he would have the outright 18-hole lead. But right now it is Bradley, Duke, and Charles Howell that all have it at 4 under. Chesson Hadley, who we showed you, is just 1 off the lead. Once again, the current cut line is a +2, and it's a very difficult golf course, but for the likes of Chesson Hadley, pretty good day out on the golf course.
It was really blustery out there the first 12 or 13 holes, and it did die down a little bit. It's still probably a club wind out there, but it doesn't feel like it because it was blowing about 25 for a while today. But really proud of the way I hung in there. You know, I kind of had a shaky stretch. I didn't feel like I was hitting terrible golf shots, but you know, this course is tricky, so even if hitting good golf shots, you can get in some positions where you're going to make bogeys, but I was able to recover.
I drove the ball really well, and then, you know, I had a really good day on the greens, which it's been a while, so it felt really good. I just played really solid. It's the best round I played all year, obviously, but felt even better than the score, just how comfortable I was.
Yeah, mentally, what does it do for you to have a round like this, considering the slow start you've gotten off to in 2016?
Yeah, it's tough. I need to go out there and play better. So it's really fun to kind of feel the buzz a little when you're having a good round. It's not very much fun when you're 3 over after 6 and you're grinding. So it was fun to go out there and really feel like I was in control today, and it's been a while since I've done that.
Now, Keegan talks about the putting, 17 for 17 on putts inside 10 feet. But boy, what a fall from grace for Keegan Bradley. He has 9 missed cuts. In fact, over the last 2 years, he has 9 missed cuts and 4 top 10s, and he has fallen from 10th in the world, which was his high point in 2013, all the way to 88th in the world, where he comes in now. And it's similar to the conversation, obviously, Jordan Spieth, very different career, but you think about when Keegan made it to 10 in the world. He had a major championship. He played great in the Ryder Cup. He was really on a great trajectory. And the love, the happiness, he said it's fun to come to the golf course and play well and not be grinding after 6 holes. What do you make of what we saw from Keegan?
Well, I think back to, and for me, the guys who anchored from 4 to 8 feet inside 10, that's where I felt like they had the advantage. They could kick the hands out of it. And from that distance this year, he's about 9% less than the tour average. And I think just the strokes gained, I think it was all about putting for him. And I think he saw some putts going in. He made some putts to keep rounds going. You know, 6 or 7 is scrambling. I think he made those putts as we look at some of those putts from that distance that he has been missing. And you get confidence. Once you start seeing some putts go in, it's amazing what your mind will do. You forget about all the bad things when you start playing well. And I think that's one of the things for him. The problem you got to watch is I think he's gone he's really excited to see a guy like Adam Scott come back from something that he's done. And that's what we always were talking about, Langer, all these guys about the anchoring and the non-anchoring. And for him to be able to do that, because he's putted with pretty much a belly putter as long as I've known him, back on the web.com tour. So, I mean, all those years he's been used to that. So now he's had to get it away. So that's a big adjustment for someone like him.
You guys both won on the PGA Tour, Brian and Jim. His last win, 2012. After your last win, and it's the weeks start to mount, Brian, that you can't win. They just aren't coming anymore. Does that ever creep into the picture where you're trying so hard to just win again and it actually hurts you?
I don't see how you can. I mean, once you win, it's when you have a win on the PGA Tour, everything works out for you that week. And it's very difficult to do to win on tour, but things come easy. Mm-hmm. And you know, if in Keegan's case, and I would think in his defense, when you start missing putts, your golf game, you start maybe tinkering your swing, and you may not even realize that it's your putting. I think that today's round, with him making some putts, and when you make putts, it frees up the rest of your swing. You're not afraid to be more aggressive to pins. You're not afraid to attack maybe a pin that if you're not making putts, you're going to shoot for the middle of the greens. But who's to say? I mean, he was Rookie of the Year, I believe. Yeah. He won in I think it was 2011 when he won the PGA Championship. You know, he hit a peak, and he's been in a rough spot right now, and he's trying to move forward. He made some changes this week with his putter. He went to a 36-inch putter after tinkering with some other ones. This might be the secret that's going to free up the rest of his game.
Yeah, it'd be a great story if Keegan Bradley can keep it going, not only tomorrow but through the weekend. That would be a great comeback story if Keegan can hang in there towards the weekend. Let's get you caught up to date. Charles Howell has the putt on 18. This to take the outright lead through 18 holes.
Now, this green's a little more tame than it used to be. It used to have a lot of slope, a lot of pitch to it, and that's a good judge of the speed up the slope there. Because that's been I like the bunkering they put up around the right off the tee. It's made this hole where you have to drive it in the fairway.
So Charles would make that par on 18. Thus, we have a three-way tie now at 4 under. Keegan Bradley, Ken Duke, Charles Howell III, all at 4 under with 67s. 2 of those came in the morning from Bradley and Duke. It's Howell very late in the afternoon, so really no advantage, it would appear, in the waves today. It was windy pretty much all day long, but going to set up for a fantastic Friday, especially with this storyline. Can Jordan Spieth fight, make the cut, and get himself into this golf tournament for the weekend? Going to be fun to watch come Friday. Charles Howell now, great 18 holes. He's in a tie for the lead. Great lag there out of the rough. He has it at 4 under. We will hear from Charles Howell straight ahead. Plus Henrik Stenson, he's played well here before. New greens after last year's tournament. Henrik saying, let's hold off on how good the greens are here at Copperhead. And yes, the Snake Pit. What a name it is. How did the Snake Pit play on this opening round? We'll let you know as we roll on Golf Central.